Hi ladies, welcome back to our halftime series. So Courtney and I have been talking to you all about taking these midpoint times in our year, sometimes just in our lives, to really examine where we are, to reevaluate what's working, what's not working, to not bury our head in the sand, to strategically quit if need be. And so my final piece of that is actually finishing strong. And one of my favorite verses about finishing strong is Hebrews 12:1 and 2. And it talks about, now that we're surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and that sin which so easily entangles us, looking away from all that would distract to Jesus, running our race with endurance and patience. And of course, that's the Jalon Martz version. But I love the scriptures because they give you a really step-by-step foundation, right? So the first step is to lay aside every weight. And what are those weights? You know, those weights could be frustration. We feel like we're not making progress. We feel like we're the only one trying to get this done and nobody's on our side for this. But Romans 5 speaks to what happens, what we should do in these moments of opposition and affliction and hardship, that these times should really build in us endurance. They should build in us fortitude. They should build in us character and ultimately hope. But a lot of times that's not what happens. We kind of get hopeless, we get frustrated, we get exhausted when we encounter opposition. And that's because we haven't decided that we will believe the promises of the Lord, right? So one of the amazing things is that in the space of hardship and opportunity, we get to make a decision. So I have recently started working out again. I'm lifting weights and all that great stuff. But undoubtedly, I always come to a point in my workout where it's getting hard, I'm tired, and I have to make a decision. Am I going to finish my reps? Am I going to touch the line? Am I going to build the muscle, or am I going to cave in? And the scriptures really speak to that. They speak to building endurance in us. And so verse 2 of Hebrews 12 says, we look away from everything that would distract unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. And so in those moments, we have to think about our why. When hardship comes, we have to really consider, why did I start out here? What was the hope that I was aiming for? And so for some of you, it may be spiritual progress. I want to develop a discipline. I want to be better at self-control. Maybe it's something more natural. Maybe I want to have savings set aside and finally be able to pay for a trip up front. Whatever the goal is, whatever the hope is, in those moments of hardship, of turmoil, of opposition, you have to pause and really think about why you started out in the first place. And the amazing promise that accompanies that is that Jesus is the author and the finisher of your faith. So you can rest knowing that what he's begun in you, he will complete and he will finish. And so I encourage you finishers, you amazing women of God, to keep going.